34 issues in to ordering nothing that I know how to order except for Peter Parker Spider-Man, the ongoing series. The rest of this, I'm like, you know what? You're just dividing my dollars. It's not going to bump my sales up. It's not going to drive my sales that much higher because of this, because my audience will go up every so often a little bit here and there. Something's really cool, but not like this. So now I'm like, well, do I reduce the numbers of these? Do I reduce the numbers of my regular series? Or are fewer people going to pick up Hulk because they want to pick up Spider-Geddon?
Right? Yeah, I mean, comics, in some ways, a comic budget is a zero-sum game. If you're going to say, I'm going to spend X amount of money this week, 5 new things come out, does that mean I pick up those 5 things and I don't pick up 5 other things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying to Richard, I don't buy everything, but then that goes into it. I don't set a budget for it, but I'll see something and it may, because I also read Star Wars. It may be Darth Vader does this. And I kind of go, well, that's not part of the Darth Vader regular title. Do I want to waste my money there? Because if I waste my money here, that means I can't buy that and feel good about it.
We have a little bit of play in our budgets that allows us to pick up one more thing.
Yeah.
Or 2 more things. Or back off on weeks that feel like it's too much. This is too much. Yeah. This is too much for me. This is too much for me to buy because this stuff is not returnable. Once I buy it, I own it. It's not worth the risk. Here's the other thing that I pointed to Sean out. So Marvel is really into doing variant covers right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if I buy 25 of Spider-Geddon #1, I can buy 1 copy of the special variant cover. If I buy 50 of Spider-Geddon, I can get 1 copy of this other variant. Make sense?
So you can get it? You have to buy so many to qualify to buy it?
Yeah, you have to get X number of titles to get 1 variant cover.
That's bullshit.
So, say for example, Spider-Geddon 1, I decide to get close to Amazing Spider-Man numbers and order 65 copies. That means if a 1 in 25, I can order 2 copies of that 1 in 25 because I've ordered more than 50 copies.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy 1 of the 1 in 50 because I bought 65 copies. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, they also have a crazy thing. Are you ready for this sitting down?
Yes. I am so befuddled how you even do this as a business.
They also have a variant structure that says if you match your orders of something else, you can order more of this other variant. So, they would come to me and they say, hey, you ordered 65 copies of Amazing Spider-Man #5.
Right.
If you match your Amazing Spider-Man #5 copies by 100% or 65 copies, you can order this other variant too. The problem is they often match it with books that don't make sense.
That won't work for you, yeah.
So they will match it to a number or a book that doesn't always make sense. And sometimes the number they want me to order is not matching. Sometimes it's 200% higher.
I've said before, as I sat in Zeus, that the stuff you go through to run this store makes my head hurt. I think my head hurts even more now. What you have to figure out. So when
it pisses me off. You have no idea how much this pisses me off.
So when you talk about the variant covers, and we're over 30 minutes. I don't want to take this too much longer. I'm going to make this the last question for this. But when you talk about the variant covers, because I even said today while we were sitting here prepping, I was like, oh, I haven't put my order in for this week's comics. And I came across that Batgirl had a really cool variant cover.
Right.
Now, are there ever times where I usually will order the variant cover just because I like different artwork than just the typical, splashy, got a little bit of dialogue kind of cover on it. Are there ever times where you have to tell someone I don't have enough of the variant covers to fulfill what you've asked for? Or
occasionally. So I try and pay attention to those numbers and I remove them off the checklist as soon as they're sold out.
Oh, okay.
DC's been doing something really cool recently, over the last year, where each issue has 2 covers.
Okay.
A main cover and an alternate cover. And retailers can order that in any quantity they want.
That's DC.
That's DC. And I have not been stuck having to order a 1 in 25 or 1 in 50 or a match and order. And it's kept those cover prices the same as what you would, as the regular cover, as opposed to being a variant. So I've appreciated DC for doing that. And I will put both covers on our checklist and then remove them as I see that we're about to sell out, right when I know that I don't have supply for it. But I'll do that with the regular issue that I can't get more of anyway. Like if we're about to run out of something, I'll take it off the list. But the final point I want to make, those 6 copies of Spider-Geddon that I just mentioned, Spider-Geddon 1 and 2, Spider-Girls, Peter Parker, Spider
Spider Force or
Spider
whatever.
Force, Vault of the Spiders, 6 comic books. Between all 6 comic books, there are 20 different variants
Holy shit.
that I could potentially order based upon my numbers for those 6 comic books. That's my entire fucking shelf.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Screw them.
I say we need to wrap this up. Are DC and Marvel publicly traded companies? I know that Marvel.
Well, I mean, DC is owned by Warner's.
So is their publishing wing
Which is
owned by Warner's too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about Marvel?
Well, Marvel's owned by Disney now.
But is that their publishing wing is under Disney as well?
Yes.
Okay. These are publicly traded companies that have to look at costs to profit, perception to reality. Somebody needs to look at that and say, guys, that doesn't work. You don't flood a market with an unwanted product.
And this is not a comment against Richard, but obviously they're doing it because somebody's buying it. If somebody wasn't buying it, they wouldn't be doing it.
And that's why comic shops sometimes have a little bit of an issue, particularly new comic shops, because they haven't figured out how to order or their order history. And I can't say that I don't always struggle with it myself.
Right.
We are their first line consumer. This product is non-refundable. So if I get excited about Amazing Spider-Geddon #1 and I order 100 copies and I sell 50, I'm stuck with 50.
Yeah.
And when you look at those sales charts, all Marvel sees is that I ordered 100 copies of Spider-Geddon and their numbers look good.
Yeah.
So when they
they don't look at actual sold product. They look at what's sold to you.
They don't care what you buy. They care what I buy. Those sales charts are based on what retailers order. And what retailers order is what causes the sales charts. If you were to tell me what the accurate sales of, if you were to ask me what the accurate sales of a book are, I would say look at issue 4 or 5 or 6. That is a more accurate reflection because the retailers have adjusted their orders to match what their customers are buying.
Do you keep 100% of the profit you make and then it's only subtracted against what you invest to purchase the initial thing?
I mean, I outright buy them.
You buy them at a certain cost, and therefore the cost of what you charge is above that by a certain percentage, and that's what you make.
for less than cover price.
Okay.
I buy them for less than cover price to resell, but they're not returnable. Magazines used to be returnable. Periodicals used to be returnable, but since about the 90s they weren't.
If they're damaged, can they be returned?
Well, I may have to report it like in the first day.
Okay.
I open my boxes, these are damaged, let's send it away. Sorry. We totally went.
Well, again,
hey, we started off talking about chain food
and suburbs, and now we're into this, but that's what in between is. I'm going to shut this one down. I'm going to throw out that on the next in between. I want to talk about what digital comics, the ability to actually purchase a digital comic and never visit your store, if that's affected you at all.
Cool.
All right. That's it. We're going to go back to Apes. See ya.
Let's finish our weeks.